Hello, everybody, and good morning. Um, I wanted to get on and allow for any questions, kind of to interact with everybody. I'm kind of I'm not new to going live, but as far as doing my video live here on Facebook, it's just bear with me. Just bear with me. But the topic that I want to talk about today is can you put offers on multiple homes in this current market? We have a lot of very little homes for sale, but we still have a lot of buyers looking to purchase in the same areas. So that causes a lot of frustration for buyers, and they're just looking for a way to to kind of get in the game and get their offers accepted. So that's where questions like these come up. Like, man, can I just put in an offer on multiple homes? I wish that was possible, but it's a lot of things you got to think about before trying to do something like that. Um, you know, and forgive me, I had to write some notes and write some things down because I didn't. I wanted to be able to keep my thoughts together as I was doing the live. So you may see me looking down at my notes and referring to my notes. But you can chime in and comment, um, and I will do my best to get to any questions that you may have. But I am a PA licensed, Pennsylvania licensed real estate agent, and I service the city of Philadelphia, because that's where I'm located. But I also have connections to other agents that are in different states, in Delaware, New Jersey, and any other states. So if I can't help you here in Pennsylvania, I can certainly find another agent in another state that can help you if you're not here in Pennsylvania looking for an agent. Uh, but I am brokered with Chenault Real Estates here in Philadelphia, and I work with first-time home buyers. I work with sellers. I help sellers find creative ways to sell their property. Sometimes sellers have to sell fast, and I can find creative ways for them to be able to sell fast, regardless of the situation. And if even if they need repairs, I can find buyers that will purchase their home without uh, them having to do any type of repairs, and they can get a quick close. So I just wanted to put that out there. But back to the question at hand, can you put offers in on multiple homes? Well, you can, but should you? That's the thing. Should you do something like that? Um, as a realtor, I have to advise my clients of any moral and ethical effects that can happen from doing something like that. And in my opinion, it is very unethical to make offers when you know you're only going to purchase one property, and it could also have some type of legal um, consequences as well. Uh, I had to do some research to kind of find out. if there would be any type of, could there be any type of legal consequences to putting in offers on multiple homes at the same time, because the purchase contract doesn't really specify, uh, give any type of guidance in that area. So, from the research that I've done, I found out that in the United States they began to recognize certain implied contract obligations in circumstances where application of the common law rules of contract formation and interpretation would lead to results that the parties to the contract clearly did not intend. And as a result, in the courts are started requiring that the implied contract obligations be consistent with and necessary to carry out the express terms of a contract, such that it could be fairly said that the parties to the contract would have included such obligations in their contract had they thought about it. So the courts started to take implied contracts obligations and consider them into the written contract obligations, and they implemented something that is called the good faith and fair dealing covenant, which I believe a lot of states have. I'm here in Pennsylvania, but a lot of states have this fair, and good faith and fair dealing covenant. And through that covenant, through that section of the law, it's implied in every contract that I'm sorry, it's implied in every contract to have some measure of good faith in the contract, regardless of if it's written or not. So the principle that a covenant of good faith is implied in every contract is a well-established, accepted truth here in Pennsylvania. State and federal courts interpreting Pennsylvania law have stated that every contract in Pennsylvania impose on each party a duty of good faith and fair dealing in its performance and its enforcements of contracts. So, through this, you could be violating this implied contract, even though it's not written in the purchase contract, by putting in multiple offers on separate properties. Because but I'm just a realtor, so I'm not a lawyer. So I would just tell you to, whatever state you're in, consult with a lawyer before you try to do something like that. Now, my consensus is that it is definitely unethical, and I would say that you should be considerate of the sellers. You have to put yourself in the seller's shoes. If you put in several offers and one of them gets accepted, you know, you're you basically have went into a binding contract with the sellers. Now, what if multiple sellers accept your offer? You know, um, they would be accepting your offer in good faith that you're going to go through with the contract. And if you and then they take their property off of the market, which is costing them time, which time is money, and you never know what is going on with the seller, why the seller decided to sell their home. They could have decided to sell their home and they needed the money fast for some type of medical emergency. They might have been getting ready to lose their home to taxes or to foreclosure, and they needed to sell fast. And then, so by if you once you get into this contract, possibly with more than one seller, the only way to really get out of that contract is to try to pull off and get out of that contract through one of the contingencies that is set up in the contract. And if you do that, you are putting your first of all, you have to put an earnest money deposit up on the contract. It asks for an earnest money deposit, so you would be obligated to put an earnest money deposit up for these the multiple um, contracts that have been accepted through these sellers. And you would have to try to get out of the contract, like I said, through one of the contingencies. Maybe it's the inspection contingency, because that's usually the first contingency, um, or the mortgage contingency. And trying to do that is, you would be lying. Um, you would be forcing yourself to lie. And if you have a mortgage, you got other issues, because you know, if you've been approved for the mortgage and then you do something to keep yourself from being approved for that mortgage just to get out of this one contract because you want to purchase the other home, the home maybe that was your first choice, you're it's just too many. It's just too unethical, and you really really run the risk of getting sued by the other seller, because you know they have that. And if you don't come up with the earnest money deposit for the other seller that accepted your offer, but you are entertaining uh, the offer that was accepted for the home that you really wanted, you still can get sued, even if you don't give the earnest money deposit. That seller could still sue you because you have to sign the contract to present the offer. Now the contract gets executed by the seller signing it and accepting your offer. So once that happens, they can take you to court. They can take you to court. So the what I would say is the best way to deal with this seller's market, where there are multiple buyers, a lot of competition, and there's multiple buyers looking in the same area on the same houses. Um, you basically have to get in the game and compete. I mean, point blank. Just get in the game and compete. Um, there, there are things that your realtor can do, and ways that they can, something that they can put in the contract where as you can give the seller a time limit on how long they have to accept the offer that you presented, and that's on the purchase contract in the time is of the essence section of the purchase contract. When you present your offer, just make sure that your realtor puts in 24 hours that day that you want to accept it. If it's not accepted within that 24-hour period, move on and put your offer in on the next property that you wanted to put an offer in. By giving this short window of time, you are protecting yourself and from having to wait multiple days and possibly missing out on the next property that you wanted to put an offer in on. Also, if your offer is not accepted through the first home that you wanted to purchase, just have your agent send a message that you would be considered, that you would like to be considered as a backup offer should the should something happen with the buyer that they accepted. You would want to be considered as a backup offer. That way, if you're still in the market and you're still, if you're still house hunting, that agent can get back in contact with your agent and see if you're still interested in the property, and you still have another chance to go after that your first choice in home, because things happen. They might accept the buyer and not accept you, but then the buyer does a inspection and doesn't like something about the house, or their mortgage, they couldn't get financing. Something happened with their financing, and then you would be looked at as the backup offer. So for me, that's my advice. And you want to get you want to make sure that you have an agent that is professional and that can negotiate for you, and that can represent you and let you know the best way to put your offer together. And that agent has to submit your offer in a professional manner, in a professional offer package. A lot of times, buyers' offers are not getting accepted, not due to what they put in their offer, but due to the fact that the agent has not presented the offer in a professional way. They did not include everything that needed to be included in the offer package. So make sure you get an agent that is very professional and that knows how to present an offer in a professional manner. Me, I pride myself on presenting my offers and very professionally, um, and I make sure that I advise my client of the best way that they can present their offer, certain things that would make their offer more favorable to the seller, different avenues that you can take, different techniques that you can use to to get your offer accepted. It's not always that you have to offer over the asking price. There's other things you can do within your offer that could get your offer accepted. It's just that your agent has to be able to communicate with the other agent to, find out what is important to the seller. And that's all through negotiation. And that's what your agent should be able to do for you. I wanted this to be short. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I do have a section on here where I ask a couple questions and you can answer the question if you'd like to be contacted to find out how you can go about starting the process of purchasing a home. If you're a buyer, first-time home buyer, I really love to work with first-time home buyers. And if you're a seller and you're looking to find out the value of your home, you can just contact me and I can give you a free estimate of the value of your home, and possibly find some ways to help you get the best price for your home or to sell your home fast. So once again, my name is Essie Dotson, and I am with Chenault Real Estate, and I hope that this has been a little helpful for you, and make sure to get in contact with me. Even if you don't live in Pennsylvania, I can refer you to other agents that are in other states or locations. And thank you for watching, and everybody have a blessed day.